My name is Rosemary Mpambwa, and for those that don't know me, my work has been published in major publications like ABC, CBC, Fox News, and NBC. So, if you are looking for love, what are the things that you really need to take care of? Your inner childhood wounds. Today, we are diving deep into what causes these? What are they? Right. So, let's start. Even when you are an adult, there is something that always causes you to feel insecure somehow, right? Somehow, there's just things that make you feel you don't belong. And this is the biggest culprit that we are going to be dissecting today. What are inner child wounds? What causes them? How do they affect your relationships? So even when you become an adult and you go into relationships, somewhere, somehow, you always feel like there is something that is not right in this relationship or with yourself. Today, we will explore the different types of inner child wounds, their causes, what causes them, and what is the common denominator in all this. The things that you need to know. The inner child wounds are often the result of your childhood trauma, abuse, or neglect, or when you feel like you have been abandoned or abandonment issues. These can always cause inner child wounds. People with inner child wounds may suffer from very low self-esteem, difficulty in trusting others, and struggle to express their emotions. Um, Today, let's talk about what are these inner child wounds? What are they? Right. What are they? When a child doesn't feel safe in a home, or when a child feels like they don't belong in a home, this is how the trauma is created, or this is how the trauma is planted into the child's life. So such wounds, um, like the past trauma, they greatly affect how an adult views the world and even relationships, and how they view themselves in relationships, and also how they view how others love them. Right. So it's like a vicious circle. When you're growing up, if you ever felt like you didn't belong in your family, or if you felt like you were always kept on the peripherals of the family, or you were always the black sheep in the family, these are some of uh, the causes or the reasons why you will have inner child wounds. Right. The concept of the inner child wounds um, has been um, in our lives ever since time on end. So let's dive into the types of inner childhood wounds, because a lot of people, when you tell them, I think you really need to address your inner childhood wounds, most of them say, inner childhood wounds, I was never injured when I was a child. But yes, all of us have some kind of childhood trauma or inner childhood wounds, but we really don't know that we do have them. They will only be noticed when you grow up and you start getting into long-term relationships. This is when you notice that there's something that's not right. So let's talk about the types and causes of these inner childhood wounds. So the first one is the physical wounds, right? So these are the kinds of wounds that stem from physical abuse during your childhood. A person who had to endure a lot of physical abuse as a child will also suffer from mental health like PTSD, and can also manifest into avoiding people or reliving that trauma. So they will withdraw from social settings. And these wounds may also be called safety wounds, since the individual's sense of safety is always in danger. Number two, neglect wounds. Whenever you felt like you were neglected somehow, right? Your mother left you with the caregivers every time, or she came to home, or even your parents, they are always busy doing something else and really never paid attention to you. And you felt, right, nobody really prioritizes uh, you as a child in the home, and you always felt like nobody really cared for you, nobody really cared for your needs. You develop neglect wounds. Number three, emotional wounds. A person usually sustains these wounds when their caregivers or adults ignore their emotional wounds. For example, growing up, you always wanted your food to be cooked a certain way, or whenever you went to bed, you felt scared, but nobody really came to tuck you in bed, or even to talk to you and address why you were really scared to go to bed, or you have been facing some bullying at school. You come home, you try to talk to your parents, and they always blame it on you, but they never really want to find out exactly what's going on. And this is how emotional wounds are formed. And the other way is emotional wounds can also be known as worthiness wounds, because you never felt worthy in any family setting or in a group. And you form these emotional wounds where you always felt like you are never good enough, you are never equal to others, you are always on the peripherals of the family. Number four, verbal wounds. This is when your caregivers were always telling you or calling you stupid, you are foolish, you know, you are dumb, calling you names. These are emotional, verbal wounds, because when a person is always calling you stupid, when adults or even other kids at school, you go through a lot of bullying, and they're always calling you, oh, stupid, oh, you are like this, or you are so foolish, you are so dumb. All those words, they are going to sink into your brain, into your subconscious mind, and before you know it, it becomes part of you, because those words are also going to be um, part of your life. And whenever anybody talks to you, you always feel like you are stupid. And this will also cause people to withdraw, which will also affect their relationships. When they get into relationships, every time they are scared to express themselves, because they are scared, what if uh, this guy, sees me as stupid as everybody has always called me. So they can also cause you to have uh, issues with belonging to somebody, or belonging to a group, or belonging to a family. For example, if you have an accent like myself, you get to places where you really don't want to open your mouth and talk, because somebody said to you, oh, you have a very strange accent and I can't even understand what you're saying. So that can also cause verbal wounds, because before you know it, you are even scared to go out on dates, because you don't know if this other guy is from your country, or how is he going to perceive your accent. So you always make sure, or you are going to be avoidant of social settings. The other one is guilty wounds. This is number 5. Unfortunately, children who suffer abuse may develop feelings of guilty as they grow up, and they tell themselves that they are at fault of what happened to them. These guilty feelings can then stick with them throughout their adult life. For example, parents get divorced and the child thinks it is their fault that the parents have gotten divorced, or your mom is going through a lot of abuse from the father, and you always think because you are not good in school, or you are always causing trouble at home, then you blame yourself um, for for the abuse that's going on into the house. Or maybe one of the parents is always saying, oh yeah, it's because of you, or because of what you do, this is why I'm going through what I'm going through. And before you know it, you have created some guilty wounds. The last one is sexual wound. Childhood sexual abuse is a very traumatic experience, and the wounds sustained from such abuse will stay with the person for a very long time. A lot of people have been abused as kids, and this cause a lot of emotional damage on the kids, and it will also affect them when they go into relationships, because most of the times they cannot be intimate at all because of the flashbacks and because of the negative experiences that they have had sexually. And this will definitely affect your relationships. And before you know it, you have all these insecurities that are always creeping up whenever you try to get into relationships. So I hope you found value today in our session. And if you want more information on this topic, let me know, or send a comment in the comment section, childhood wounds. Put that phrase, childhood wounds, and then I can send you more information on these wounds and how they continue to affect your relationships today. So thank you so much. Next week, we are talking about the 16 signs that you have inner childhood wounds, and how can you deal with them. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I hope you got value from this show today. And if you want more information, as I said, put in the comment section childhood wounds, and I will send you more information about this. So thank you so much. You have a wonderful day and take care of yourself. Bye bye for now.